Good morning, and welcome to Chapel Chat. I'm Pastor Kevin Little, and this is the chapel at Rantoul First United Methodist Church. I just spent 3 days at a workshop as part of my ordination process. The focus was on preaching and worship, but a lot of our time was spent reflecting on the things that have happened to all of us over the past couple of years. For some of us, it was the first time that we had met with this group at all. For others, it was the first time that we'd met with the group in person, having met 3 times over the past year on Zoom. Somehow, a key portion of our discussions revolved around how we fit into our ministry context, or more often, how we feel like we don't. Many of us had struggled at various points in the last year with feeling like we were round pegs being hammered into a square hole. Let me tell you, that doesn't feel good. It might just be a tight squeeze, but it still doesn't fit. Other times, though, it can cause permanent damage. Sometimes this is a side effect of simply being pastors in churches that have certain expectations, or it's something that is ingrained within our denomination. In other ways, it might just be our own personalities that can sometimes complicate the relationships around us. Whatever it was, we were all feeling that there was a certain degree of feeling different in some way. I was lucky enough to be tasked to provide a devotion Wednesday morning, and the reading that I had done a couple of days before in the 100 Days of Prayer book touched on this subject. It pointed out that we were all created differently, for different purposes, intentionally. And not only were we created differently, but each of us were called in that difference by God to lead people to Him. We weren't called to become square pegs. We're called to lead from our roundness to make changes, because Jesus was different too. He spoke out against the things that needed change, trying to lead the church into a new direction. He tried to help them understand things in a new way. He didn't fit the mold of a Messiah the way that they expected, and they kept trying to pound him into the shape they wanted until they finally gave up and killed him. But Jesus also didn't call people to him that people would have expected. He called Matthew the tax collector, someone who was regarded just slightly above a leper simply because of the job he had. He called Peter, and we know what a screw-up Peter was because it's all over the Bible. He even called James and John, and those guys weren't just fishermen who didn't travel in the same social circles as the priests. These were rough guys, prone to angry outbursts, challenging statements about wanting to be the favorites, and responding to rejection by wanting to rain fire down and wipe out an entire village. They didn't earn the nickname Sons of Thunder because they were calm and collected people. And yet Jesus called each of them to be the people who would lead the church forward in his absence. And it isn't just pastors that are different, though. Each of you is different, too. And each of you has been called for something by Jesus. Each of you has something special to contribute to the world around you, and you might not even know it. Take some time to think about what it might mean for you to embrace your differences and bring them forward to see how they might help the church. Or, if you're watching this and don't have a church or even a strong connection with Jesus, how might the ways that you are different help the community of people around you? I bet there's something that you might be able to do to help someone else in your neighborhood. Because sometimes that's all it takes to be different, a willingness to help others. Thanks for joining me for another Chapel Chat. I'll see you right here again next time. Have a great week.